Hi, Woody Henderson here with American Dreams Real Estate, and it's time for the San Diego housing market update for April 2021. This month, we'll talk about key metrics and home prices, share with you the latest on home inventory, mortgage rates, and then answer the question using the data, are we headed for a housing crash? Excited to share with you. All right, so San Diego key metrics. The median home price was up to 685,000 in March of 2021. That's up 2.2% from the prior month, but more than 16% since March of 2020. Market time is down to 23 days or down 20.7%. The number of active listings is down by 21.4% to 2,457. Months of supply, less than 1 month of inventory, zero point 0.8 months, down 10%. And the number of sales is up slightly to 3,325. Let's take a closer look at home prices over the last year here in San Diego. So this slide shows prices over the last year. You can see in March of 2020, the median home price was 589, and here 1 year later, we're up at 685. That's almost $100,000 in price improvement over the past year. So what's happening at the national level? Well, at the national level, the typical homeowner would have accumulated about $24,000 in housing wealth, or translate that into $2,000 per month. Here in San Diego, with nearly $100,000 in increased prices or improved equity, that homeowner was earning $8,000 a month in improved financial position. Let's take a look at inventory, and inventory has reached a record low with 0.8 months of supply. The red line on this graph shows a balanced inventory where it's considered to be in balance with 6 months worth of inventory. We're quite a ways from there with 0.8 months on the books right now, and we'll see the slide again a little bit later in the presentation. This is inventory at the national level. On the far right, we see that we're down by 25.7% year over year, and that's a pretty dramatic drop since March of last year. One more thing on inventory, it's believed that as the COVID vaccine becomes more available and the economy improves, that we'll see more homeowners putting their homes on the market and achieving, obtaining the equity gains. And I expect to see that in San Diego as we enter into the spring and summer. However, it's not going to be so dramatic that it's going to have a dramatic negative impact on prices. Let's take a look at mortgage rates. This shows mortgage rates for the last year. We see that we're down just above 3%, and they've gone up in the past month or so. However, most of the experts don't forecast that it's going to go over pre-2020 levels during this year. Mortgage rates have decreased 17.3% since this time last year, and that's driving a lot of the demand for housing and homes here in San Diego. And this is from the chief economist at Freddie Mac. While purchase activity remains high and we expect interest rates to go up, he's not expecting that to put much of a damper on spring home sales. In summary, we've got low inventory, low interest rates, and as a result, we've got increasing prices. So our last topic today is a housing crash. I was watching a video last week from an economist that had the position that we were going to have a housing crash, or the potential for a housing crash was there. And so I wanted to take a look at our own numbers here in San Diego and see if that made any sense, if that could bear out true. As I shared earlier, according to the National Association of Realtors, 6 months supply is considered to be a market imbalance. We are here at 0.8 months, dramatically below that 6 months worth of inventory. Let's take a closer look at forbearance. One of the arguments that the economist was making, that forbearance was going to have a dramatic impact on inventory in some of these markets. So I pulled the numbers. These are from the Mortgage Bankers Administration. So 5.505% of all loans are in forbearance. And when people have been exiting forbearance in the last year, 50.8% paid them in full, 33.6% worked out a payment plan, and 15.6% are still in trouble. And that's this 13.8 with no loss mitigation plan, or 1.8 that resulted in foreclosure, short sales, or other transfer of the property. So those are two areas that we could expect uh, more inventory to come on the market. I also want to note that down here, 7.5% of those that came out of forbearance paid off their loans in full. So chances are they put their homes on the market and exited the market. So that tells us that if we were going to increase inventory, it could be about 23% of the total number of loans in forbearance. So 23.1% of that 5.05 is just a little over 1.165. And if we go back to this graph, if we were to increase the number of homes on the market by 1.165, it's not going to have much of an impact on the months of inventory that we have. Let's take a look forward. This slide shows inventory levels of those time periods when we were in balance and compares them to where we are today. In October and November, October 2009 and November of 2011, we had a little over 6 months worth of inventory, a little over 9,000 units, active listings, and then we had over 1,500 listings sold. We can compare that today with less than 1 month of inventory, 3,085 active listings, and 2,682 listings sold. In the graph on the bottom, it shows there's a big gap between 0.8 months and that inventory in balance. We would need 5 months of additional inventory just to have the market in balance where supply and demand were in balance. I also wanted to take note of back here in April of 2009. At that point, when we did have a housing bubble, there were just over 13,000 homes, active listings on the market. So we're a long way from that here today, a long way from having a housing crash here in San Diego. So our spring home buyer and seller guides are available for you now, and they're just designed to help you make good decisions and to do your best in this very competitive, fast-moving market that we've got here in San Diego right now. And as always, this is my contact information. I want to be your resource for everything real estate related. So if you have any questions or there's anything I can do for you, let me know. Until next time, stay safe and be well.